welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Sandra and I'm the owner and creator here at Midwest Charm. We are a small shop in Pine City, Minnesota, where we offer repurposed, upcycled furniture and home decor, as well as gifts and all of your DIY needs. We have 2 paint lines. We've got Iron Orchid Designs, Roycycled Treasures, Connie's Lines and Designs, and more. And you can find us on all the social medias. Those are linked below, as well as our website, www.midwestcharm.co, and that is linked below as well. And our email can be found below too if you ever need to get a hold of us. Today's video is more items out of Sonnet's Maker's Box. I am doing 4 more projects out of that. And if you stay tuned to the very end, you'll see the final pieces. Let me know what you think. Project number 1, I took an old wooden recipe box and I used, I can't remember, Lichen. I believe this is Lichen. I will double check and post everything I use below. And I just gave this 2 good coats all over, except for around those hinges there. I tried to leave those hinges the pretty brass color that they were. So I went around those and then gave this 2 good coats. And I did do the inner lip on this as well, but not the inside of it. I had debated on what I was going to do, which is why you see me painting the top now. I was going to put decoupage paper on this, but I decided not to. So this paint color is in Sonnet's August Maker's Box, and this is one of my projects with that. You will see at the very end exactly how I finished this, because it's a little bit different than just leaving it plain. I did not leave it plain, but I did leave it so that it could be used for pretty much anything. A cute little box for storage, for jewelry, for what recipes even. So I did leave it. I really love how it turned out. And this color is really stinking pretty. So pretty. Project number 2, I got from the flea market. If you haven't watched the video with that haul, go ahead and give that a quick watch. These are the attachment boxes that I bought for $1 a piece from a man who also sold us a sewing machine drawer too. And these I am using Little Black Dress from DIY. This also was in our Maker's Box. I gave it 2 good coats of paint, let it completely dry. I did not seal these, and you guys, do as I say, not as I do. I've said it before, and I boo-booed because I did not seal these beforehand, and I could have edited this whole part out and decided not to. I decided to show you, hey, you know, I screwed up, I messed up, and I need to redo it. So I do. I'm just kind of checking the size of these little containers versus these transfers, these gilded transfers, because I really wanted to make sure that they fit on the top of it pretty well and there wasn't a whole lot of overlapping. And again, here's my mistake. I went ahead, I checked it out, I peeled my backer off and I stuck it on, and no matter what I did, you guys, I'm really regretting my kitty's here sitting with me, you all, if you hear him. It wouldn't pull off, and when it did, it pulled some of the paint up with it too, and I tried to fix it. I tried laying it back down. I'd start from different angles. I'd get apart, I'd see it release, and then I'd try it again, and in the end, and I'm hoping I show it here, I ended up just sanding it off and repainting it, sealing both pieces with my top coat. I do believe I used Sweet Pickens top coat in matte. And then we're going to try these again. And I'm going to let you listen to a little bit of music while you watch me screw up. So now that that sealer has dried, we're going to do this again. We're going to take the beautiful, beautiful gilded transfer. I did cut out another one. I'm going to place it down. I rubbed the little parts that reached over the side down first and then rub the stick all over, and then I go back in and work down in those details. The graphics come off of these very easily, as you can see, and it's very easy to tell when they have released from that main portion. And you guys, save those backers because you can reuse those with gilding glue or use them as decoupage paper or put them in a frame. You have so many other options that you can do with these back pieces that you're using both the negative and the positive, and it's just, I love the fact that I'm getting more bang for my buck on these, especially since they are a little bit more expensive than the regular ones. So for me, this is a great option. And again, you can see here, this is lifting off beautifully, so much easier than the last time. And I'm going to give you a quick shot of both of these really quick, and then we're going to move on to our next project. I do use my finger to burnish these ones in, since the backer, it still has the gold on it. Project number 3 is a little cardboard box that I'm going to go ahead and use Fusion Lichen on again. This is from the Maker Box, and I'm going to put 2 good coats on this piece. I am going to do the top and bottom as well, but I'm not doing the inside lip that holds that top on. I want this to be able to pull on and off very smoothly and not catch on the paint or pull the paint off from the constant scratching. This piece also has a really cool linen-like texture that was really fun to work with because it still came out in the very end, and it has this just really neat feel to it. I love how it turned out. This will get 2 coats of this paint. This is an all-in-one paint, so there is a sealer in it. I do end up decoupaging on this, and because I do that, I do put a sealer on the whole piece at the very end, but I really love how it turned out. I took the new stamps from Iron Orchid Designs. I believe this is ephemeral type. I will link it below. I do have some left in the store. I'm using stone gray ink. Again, I have ink pads and inks available as well. I love using stone gray in any of these text stamps for backgrounds. They just look so cool. And that stone gray, it looks like there's nothing on your stamp, and then you go to put it down and you're like, oh my gosh, it's stunning. I'm using McSusan from Connie's Lines and Designs, and I'm just using some water and a paintbrush and going around the edges of the part that I want to apply to my box. Now, when you do this, it loosens up those fibers, and then it's going to give you a really natural, rusticy looking tear on it. And I like doing that when I'm doing so it doesn't look so sharp when I'm doing a piece like this, where I'm not using the whole thing or blending. So for me, this was the perfect way to do this. And I'm absolutely loving how this looks at the end. I did go ahead, because I want these colors to pop and not just kind of blend in. I did paint the back with the Victorian lace before doing this. I really want those colors to pop. And I'm going to use my Sweet Pickins top coat in matte. I'm going to apply it where I want it to go. And I just picked a side. And then I'm going to place the piece down, smooth it out. I'm going to make sure that I get all those little edge fibers flattened down and sealed in good. And then I'm going to use the top coat to go ahead and seal up the entire piece so that it all has the same finish. And there I am doing the rest of it. It just gives it all a complete look, and it doesn't make it look like one part's shinier or not shiny. Project number 4, you may have gotten glimpses of already. This is a tray, And I'm going in with Victorian Lace by Fusion. This tray has some water damage on the side. This has a built-in sealer, so I thought this was a good option for my base coat. I am decoupaging, and I really want the colors in this paper to pop. So for me, using this white was a good call. I'm going to do 2 coats of this white. There's a teeny tiny bit of bleed through still, but it goes with my overall finished look, so I'm not mad about it. I was just really careful applying this white so that the paint didn't go up the sides. I knew I was going to have to use my X-Acto knife to trim the paper, and I didn't want to have any of that white popping through. So I was really careful, and I'm sorry you can't see what I'm doing, but hopefully you got the gist of it from that beginning part. I'm just going around those edges and getting in those corners. And again, this will get 2 coats of this so that my paper really pops. And this paper is also in the August box. I think this Victorian Lace and the other color I use on this project are from a previous box. I will mark that below if that is the case. I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe the paper that I'm using is called Everywhere Signs. I am going to grab that next and place it where I want it, and then just use my fingers to kind of give me a pattern of where I need to cut. And I'm going to cut a little bit more than what I need, knowing that the one corner will line up in the corner and along the side and the bottom, and then the other corners and side there'll be a little bit of excess. And that's what I'm showing you here. So now that this has the 2 coats, we're going to go ahead and take some more of our Sweet Pickins top coat in matte. And I'm going to start by getting this first little spot done so we can get it all lined up correctly. Because once it's lined up correctly, it'll all lay in there nice and good. And I do like to mist my papers so that it gets less wrinkles and just has a little bit more give. And I'm able to get it lined up exactly how I want it. You can see a little bit of the white there, but I do take care of that in the end. And then I go back in and do a couple more strips of that top coat and spritz, and then just smooth it down. When you guys, I don't know, I don't seem to have issues with the wrinkles using this method. It's beautiful. It dries so flat. I really like using this, and I'm just finishing up the rest of this here to get this all laid down in one more swoop here. And I will go in with my fingernails and really get it into those corners so that it adheres nicely. And I think I end up going, after I do the X-Acto knife, I think I do go back in there and put a little bit more down under those corners before it dries for good. And now we are going over the top of this paper with a nice generous coat of that Sweet Pickins top coat in matte. Then we are going to let this completely dry, and honestly, this is the longest part of it. I don't like using the heat gun on this part because I just want it to dry naturally, and it just gives it such a wonderful finish in the end. There it is, all dried up. And we used the X-Acto knife, cut out the edges, and I didn't get that part. And this I'm using, I believe this is Crinoline from DIY, and this matches so well. And now, because I have sealed in this paper, if I get any of this paint on it, I'm very easy to wipe off with that baby wipe. And I do take a smaller brush to do the detail work, to go along the edge, to get into the corners, and to get into the handles. And then I use that bigger brush to do the more broad strokes, the outside and the sides of the piece, because once you get all that detail work, it's so much easier to deal with. And then if there was any white, I made sure to get some of this crinoline covering that white. I think this color goes so well with this paper. It was beautiful. And again, just going along those edges nice and slow and in the corners. And again, this is a more detailed brush, just so that I'm able to get in there and do what I need to do without worrying about getting that on the paper. And again, because it's sealed, even if it gets on the paper, I can just go in there with a wipe and clean it up and make it look all smooth. There I am, just cleaning it up a little bit with a baby wipe. And then this is going to also get 2 coats of this paint. Once this first one's done, it's so much easier to not worry about getting it on the paper or having any get where I don't want it. I'm going to give you a quick shot of this painted. That's with 2 coats. We're going to go in with our finger sander, and these are linked below, and I'm going to hit all these edges and the handles, and then just do the corners and just kind of get it some good scuffing. I really want this to look a little bit more aged, to even go with this paper even more, and just really make things pop. And this is DIY paint, and it's clay based, so it will need sealed up. And again, we're going to use our Sweet Pickins. Oh, I used wax, you guys. Oh my gosh. So I used DIY wax, and I used clear and antiquing wax. And actually, this is not DIY wax. This is Country Chic wax. It's what I had on hand. I could not find my clear wax for DIY. So I used clear wax and dark and antiquing wax, and I'm just kind of mixing them. So I put a good coat of that clear on. I'm going in with a mixture of the 2 around the bottom edge and in the corners and around the handles, and just lightly on the edges to make it look even more worn and aged and beautiful. And you guys, I will be honest, I really, really love how this turned out. And stay tuned to the end so you can see final picture of all of these items together. These are also all available on our website, www.midwestcharm.co, and these can be purchased on there. We do have flat rate shipping. I'm just taking a shop cloth here, and after it's sat for a while, I'm just kind of buffing this off. And you can go back in with clear to remove if you got too much dark, or you can add more wherever you would like. And I'm just going back in and doing a quick buff. I really, really like using a mixture of that dark and clear, because it just gives me a little bit more control and doesn't go on and shock you, because sometimes if you go directly on, it comes out so dark that yeah, but this way it doesn't. And I really love how this turned out. And here are your final pieces. What did you think? What was your favorite item that I flipped? I don't know if I have a favorite, but if I guess I have to pick, it would be the tray. I really like how it turned out with the paint on that. Post below what you think. Please like, subscribe, and share with all your friends, and we'll see you next time. Bye.